ever heard of a land where mountains whisper legends, rivers race with the wind, and eagles casually sit on your arm? Welcome to Kyrgyzstan, a hidden gem of Central Asia. In this 5 day adventure, we're covering everything from Soviet relics to lavender fields, from yurt stays to sky bridges. Buckle up, this isn't your average vacation. This is Kyrgyzstan. We touched down at Manas International Airport and checked into Bishkek Centrum Hotel. Very central, very comfy, and highly recommended if you like being close to coffee. Speaking of which, our first stop, Turano Cafe, because let's face it, no adventure truly begins until the caffeine kicks in. From there, it was a whirlwind city tour, Oak Park for a leafy stroll, the massive Bishkek flag because nothing says patriotism like a flag you can see from space, and some peaceful vibes at the water fountain and Victory Monument. We also prayed at a local masjid before wrapping up the day. Day 2, Nature Calls. Ala Archa National Park welcomed us with a 1 kilometer trek that felt more like 10 if you haven't stretched in a while. But the scenery? Worth every step. Next up, Chonkurchak, snow-dusted peaks, a cable car that might challenge your trust in gravity, and a sky bridge that tests your courage and your camera angles. History buffs, Day 3 is for you. First stop, Burana Tower, an 11th century minaret with legends taller than the tower itself. Some say it was a watchtower, others a lighthouse. Either way, the view from the top is free cardio. Once upon a time there was a powerful Khan who had a beautiful daughter. To celebrate her birth, he invited all the fortune tellers and wise men of the land. They all foretold she would have a long and happy one. Well, all except for one. One old man predicted that the girl would die from a spider bite on her 16th birthday.
This prediction terrified the Khan so much that he built a tall tower where he placed his daughter in isolation. The girl grew up in the tower. Servants brought her food and drinks, delivering it in a basket by climbing a ladder that was placed against the outside walls of the tower. Everything got inspected thoroughly to make sure that no spider would ever reach her. On the day of her 16th birthday, the Khan was so happy that the old man's prediction didn't come true that he hurried to the tower to celebrate it with his daughter. He went to her room carrying a basket of fresh grapes. In his rush, he failed to notice a poisonous spider which had concealed itself in the basket. As his daughter was reaching for the fruit, the spider bit her and the girl immediately collapsed and died. The Khan was stricken with grief and cried so loudly that the tower shook. The top part of the tower toppled down, leaving it in ruins. How beautiful and sad this legend might be, the fact is that the upper part of the minaret collapsed after a major earthquake in the 15th century, reducing its size from 40 to 25 meters. Then we visited the nearby strawberry farms where we ate the freshly plucked strawberries. We stopped at a home-like restaurant called Katama. Then we hiked the rust-red Moynok Canyon. By climbing to the mountains, it is possible to catch an amazing panoramic view of the canyons, so while enjoying the views, you will have a feeling of visiting the red planet. The identical terrain will confuse your mind, and you may think for a moment that you've escaped from the planet Earth. The mountains here are entirely from clay and sand, that is why forms of red-colored sandy cliffs resembling bizarre, fabulous structures appear. We then proceeded to Cholponata, a town at the north of Issyk-Kul Lake, the pearl of Kyrgyzstan. Salty, fresh, and somehow not contradictory. It looks like a giant blue eye on satellite image. This is one of the largest lakes in Central Asia, surrounded by snowy mountains. About 80 rivers flow into the lake, of which about 30 flow year-round, but none flows out of it, and every year about 80 centimeters of water evaporate from the surface of the lake, so the water is slightly salty, which lowers the freezing point. Its coasts have been settled since ancient times, and there are many villages and towns around it. One of the main Issyk-Kul towns is Cholponata, a modern resort that retains the traditional culture of the past. Here we stayed at Olymp Hotel, where dinner came with a lakeside view and a reminder that Kyrgyzstan really doesn't do boring. Day 4 started with more lavender fields because why not? Then lunch at Dasturkhan, where you don't just eat food, you experience it. We then visited the Dungan Mosque in Karakol, built by Chinese Muslims in the early 1900s. The building is wooden entirely without nails, and much of its imagery, including a wheel of fire, reflects the Dungan's pre-Islamic Buddhist past. Then nature turned dramatic. Jetty Ogus, or Seven Bulls, a rock formation that looks like a herd of giant red bulls, froze mid-charge. The Seven Bulls are the rich red rock formations that Jetty Ogus is most famous for. Making out the shape of 7 bulls might be stretching the imagination somewhat, but the natural beauty in the gorge itself is one to wonder at. Hiking is the main attraction in the valley, with many options for short walks, day-long hikes, or multi-day treks that will take you right over the Achator Pass and beyond. A great short walk option, which we found perfect with the kids, was from the base of the 7 Bulls right inside the valley. And right next to it, Kokjayk Valley, where the rivers run wild and the views could make your camera cry. We even got to hold eagles and do a little horse riding, Kyrgyz traditions that make you feel like a nomadic warrior, or at least a very confused city person trying to hold on. The night ended at Happy Nomads Yurt camp with a hearty dinner at Cafe 78 and a million stars overhead. Beats any 5-star hotel, trust me. Final day, and our legs are sore, but spirits high. First stop, Aksu Hot Springs, nature's jacuzzi, perfect for tired travelers and dramatic Instagram stories. One can enjoy 4 pools with varying temperatures, including a cold pool at around 20 degrees and a very hot one exceeding 50 degrees. Additionally, there's a warm pool at about 40 degrees and a slightly warmer one at approximately 35 degrees. Then we drove to Skazka Canyon, also called Fairy Tale Canyon, with formations shaped like dragons, castles, and your imagination gone wild. Fairy Tale Canyon on the south coast of Lake Issyk-Kul, red and orange rock formation, makes you feel like you are walking in a fairy tale land. And as the name Skazka suggests, it literally translates from Russian as a fairy tale, and yes, it lives up to its name. Kyrgyzstan really outdid itself.